I'm Paul O'Donnell, business editor of the Plain Dealer, and we're on the record today with Dick Kinzel, the Chief Executive Officer of Cedar Fair. Dick, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in
Thanks,
today.
Paul.
We appreciate it. This is spring's in the air. This is kind of your season.
This is it. This is what we gear up for. We're almost like a sports franchise. We gear up during the winter, and then when spring comes, we're ready to go.
Well, Cedar Fair's had kind of a dramatic change in the last year. You made an incredibly large acquisition last year of the former Paramount parks. So this will actually be your first operational year with all of those parks under your control.
The company has made a dramatic change this past year. We've doubled our size. We're going to be almost $1 billion in revenue this coming year if we hit our projections right. But it's going to be an exciting year. We've added the Paramount parks, but they're beautiful properties. We're looking forward to operating them, and we think going forward is going to be a great investment for Cedar Fair.
The amusement park business, we were chatting a little bit that things like weather and some other factors that really aren't in your control are real important to you guys. How do you deal with that?
Well, there's just things you have control over, things you don't have control over. The weather we have no control over, but it still does. If it clouds up on Friday night and they're projecting bad weather for the weekend, it does get you, because everyone works so hard to get the parks ready and get them ready for opening. And as we mentioned, it is a seasonal business, so we're only open 130 days, and every day we miss, that's almost 1% of our revenues. So, and there's a big difference. We have to have so much rain. We know that. Ideal situation, it rains between midnight and 7 in the morning, but that doesn't happen. And then the best scenario, of course, is there's a big difference if it rains on Monday as opposed to rains on a Saturday. Saturday's our biggest day of the week at all of our parks in the whole industry. So if we have good weather on Saturday, we're in pretty good shape.
For the readers around here, the two parks that I think people care the most about, obviously, are Cedar Point and Geauga Lake. Let's talk a little bit first about what's going to be new at those parks this year. So if I'm planning a trip opening weekend to Cedar Point, what am I going to see?
Well, we have our first coaster at Cedar Point since the Top Thrill Dragster in 2003, so it should be an exciting year for us. We're putting in Maverick. It's not as high or as fast as the previous coasters we put in, but it's a $21 million investment, the same amount of money we put in our last two big coasters. It's only going to go 105 feet tall, but it's going to have some exciting elements to it. I think people are going to start and they'll go a 95-degree drop. And it looks like a regular coaster for a while. It has some inversions in it that Cedar Point hasn't had for a while. And then it has a surprise element at the end when people think it's done. Then it slows down and it'll
accelerate
to about 70 miles an hour to bring you back into the station. So it should be an exciting coaster.
Oh, it sounds like a fun ride. When you were going through the phase where it was ever higher, ever faster, has that pretty much ended?
Well, I don't know if it's ended or not. Certainly economics plays a part in it. The coaster wars really started back in 1989 when we put in the Magnum XL 200. That was the first coaster to go over 200 feet in the air, and that only cost $7.5 million to put in. And the last coaster we put in was the Top Thrill Dragster, and that cost almost $25 million to get it installed. And that's real money. That's not using land costs that we've already owned and things like that. So it was real money that went into that. So you can see a smaller park just can't afford to put a coaster like in because you're only open 100 and some days a year, and the return on investment just is not there.
Well, when Top Thrill went in, I think it held the title tallest coaster in the world for a while. How many have surpassed it?
Just one coaster has surpassed that. Kinzel in Jackson, New Jersey came 2 years later and is higher than the Top Thrill Dragster by about 30 feet.
Is it the same type of coaster?
It's exactly the same type of coaster. What they did is they took that idea, which is fine, and they just added another 30 feet to it. But we were fortunate enough. We had the first 200-foot coaster, the first 300-foot coaster, and the first 400-foot coaster at Cedar Point, and today we're the only park that has all three of those coasters.
Right. Now you move downstate a little bit to Kings Island, and it has the Beast and the Son of Beast. Where do those rank in terms of coasters around the country?
As a wooden coaster goes, the Beast has always been a great coaster. That really is two coasters in one. It goes out into the woods. It's the longest coaster in the world. It held that title for a while, and for a long time it held the title of the best wooden coaster in the world. The Son of Beast was put in a few years ago. That really hasn't got the recognition or the it just didn't go over the way I believe that the Paramount company wanted it to go over. It just didn't have the elements that maybe a steel coaster had. But they have great coasters at Kings Island. Kings Island is a beautiful park. It's only 35 years old. It's certainly a newer park, whereas Cedar Point's over almost 130 years old. Kings Island was engineered with the fountains and almost Disney-esque. It's a beautiful, beautiful park. If you haven't been there, it's really something to see. We're really proud of that property.